Ozempic works. Retatrutide works. Tirzepatide and all of these GLP-1 RAs work, and they work really freaking well. These drugs have been the most successful drugs in weight loss history, with people losing over 15% of their body weight within a year and over 10% of their body weight in just the first 20 weeks. So if anybody is familiar with 2,4-dinitrophenol or DNP, you know we have come a long way in the safety and efficacy of these weight loss drugs. And whether you like it or not, if you feel like these weight loss drugs are cheating or ridiculous or whatever, these drugs in the current context of obesity in the United States could not be more necessary. Currently, 73.6 US adults are overweight or obese. 40% of the whole population is actually obese, and 10% are severely obese. So let's break these numbers down. You have 100 people. 74 of them are overweight or obese. 40 of them are actually obese, and 10 of those 100 people are severely obese. Statistically, this means that if you have 10 friends, 3 will be overweight, 3 will be obese, and 1 of your besties will be severely obese. That leaves you with only 3 normal weight friends out of your 10-person girls group, which is fucking insane. As of 2025, 1 in 8 adults have reported using GLP-1s, and of those people, about 40% have reported using them to specifically lose weight. A once weekly injection of 2.4 milligrams of semaglutide has been found to shrink waist size by 10 to 15 centimeters. That is 5 inches off of your waist. In multiple randomized double-blind placebo-controlled trials, semaglutide treatment has been found to result in greater than 15% weight loss. For the first time ever, fat people can successfully get skinny without having to use discipline or willpower to essentially stay in a calorie deficit and starve themselves. So now in come these STEP trials. These are the semaglutide treatment effect in people with obesity trials, and they are all randomized double-blind placebo-controlled trials, which is as high quality as it gets. This is the gold standard. In the step 1 trial, everyone was either overweight or obese. The average BMI was 37.9, which, keep in mind, the cutoff for obesity is 30 and the cutoff for severe obesity is 40. These people had an average BMI of 37.9, so basically 38, which is basically severely obese, but not exactly. So the average BMI was 37.9, and the participants were randomized to either take 2.4 milligrams of semaglutide or a placebo, which is essentially an injection of nothingness. Everybody in the trial, both the people on semaglutide and on the injection of nothingness, they were all told that you need to eat 500 calories less every day, and you need to do 150 minutes of exercise each week. At the end of the trial, those on semaglutide lost an average of 14.9% body weight. Those on the placebo, who were not receiving any GLP-1 and were supposed to be eating in a 500 calorie deficit and doing their 150 minutes of aerobic exercise, they only lost 2.4% of their body weight. So for a 180-pound female with a BMI of 30, so she's classified as obese, that is the difference between losing 29.8 pounds or 4.8 pounds. A 15% weight loss would bring her BMI from 30 to 25, so from obese to just being on the cusp of normal weight. And another insane statistic from the step 1 trial is that 14.9% weight loss was only the average weight loss in the semaglutide group. 50.5% of those on semaglutide lost more than 15% of their body weight. But for the placebo, only 4.9% people actually lost more than 15% body weight. GLP-1s compared to lifestyle intervention work ridiculously well. And there isn't only the step 1 trial, there is step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 step trials. So let's move on to the step 4 trial, which is also insane. In the step 4 trial, after 54 weeks of semaglutide, 63.7% people lost over 50% of their body weight. But the people in the placebo ended up gaining weight, and they saw their waist size increase by 3.3 centimeters. So they actually kind of got fatter. I haven't told you was that the step 4 trial was specifically a withdrawal trial. So the data from this trial shows us exactly what we should expect when people stop using their GLP-1 drugs. For the first 20 weeks, everyone was taking semaglutide. And of course, everyone lost weight. The average weight loss in just 20 weeks was 10.6%. So everybody on the drug lost a lot of weight very fast. And for our 180-pound bestie, that is a weight loss of 19 pounds over 20 weeks. So she's basically knocking off a pound a week. But what happens to that weekly weight loss when you stop injecting? After week 20, some people's semaglutide injection was secretly switched for the injection of nothingness. They were randomized to the placebo. And while those who still got their semaglutide injections continued to lose weight, those switched to the placebo got fat again. They ended up gaining back 6.9% of their weight. And at the end of the step 4 trials, those who got semaglutide the whole time lost on average 18.5% body weight, while those who got their drugs taken away had a net weight loss of 3.7%. For our 180-pound bestie, that is the difference between 33 pounds gone or only 6.6. In the step 4 trial, the average BMI was 38.4, which is 2 points away from severe obesity, and the average waist circumference was 115 centimeters. In the first 20 weeks of the step 4 trial, when everybody was on semaglutide, the average decrease in waist circumference was 10.1 centimeters. And at the end of the study, those who got a full course of semaglutide successfully saw their waist shrink by 16.5 centimeters. Those who had their GLP-1 taken away gained back 3.3 centimeters of belly fat by the end of the trial. So remember what we learned earlier? People on semaglutide 2.4 milligrams injected subcutaneously weekly, they were losing over 10% of their body weight within just 20 weeks. Some people were losing more than a pound a week. But once you stop the drug, you will gain the weight back, and most of it will be from body fat, leaving you in a much worse position than you were when you started at your heavier weight. 2.3 years after taking the drug, these people gained back 11.6% of their body weight. Some people were regaining over 2/3 of their prior weight loss, and of course, metabolic health got worse and waist circumference got bigger again. Another meta-analysis found that once you stop taking these weight management medications, you can expect to regain weight at a rate of 1 pound per month, and within 1.4 years, you can expect all markers of cardiometabolic health to be right back in square one and about 15 pounds heavier. As much as I love the data and statistics, which I got that trait from my dad, it is also super interesting to see what people are saying their real experience coming off the drug was. So let's hop over to Reddit and see what people have to say. So this person says, I stopped after 2 years and felt ravenous all the time. I gained back about 10 pounds, and I gained back about 10 pounds in the first 2 months. So this lady gained 5 pounds per month after she stopped using semaglutide. She lost a bunch of weight and essentially gained it all right back as soon as she stopped using the drug. This person says, 2 years ago, I lost 55 pounds and was absolutely ravenous and pretty incapable of thinking about anything other than food once I stopped the medication. I gained back 5 to 10 pounds a month until I was over my starting weight within a year. I tried so hard to keep the weight off, but it didn't matter. I truly believe this is a lifetime drug once you reach a certain point. I'm back on it for 2 weeks now and finally seeing a downward movement on the scale again. This post kind of hits at the truth that unless you change your diet and lifestyle, your eating habits, what you eat, and how much you eat, you will indefinitely be dependent on this drug to control your appetite, weight, and ultimately stay healthy. I lost 45 pounds on Ozempic. I'm 36-year-old male, 220 pounds to 175 pounds. I stopped because I always felt kind of bad on Ozempic. I never had energy and was always constipated. I got a weight I got to a weight I could maintain, so my doctor suggested I stop. It's been 30 days now and I've gained 15 pounds. So this person's gaining 2 pounds per day. 30 days, 15 pounds. this person's gaining half a pound a day. So that is incredibly rapid. And what's really unfortunate about this is when this fellow was on Ozempic, he probably lost a lot of body fat, which was probably pretty good for him, but he probably also lost a lot of lean mass and skeletal muscle, which is so important to metabolic health, blood sugar control, insulin sensitivity, and it has all of these beautiful health benefits that you really, really want. And then when he gained the weight back, he gained 15 pounds in 30 days. There is no freaking way that was 10 pounds of fat, 5 pounds of muscle. Muscle takes a very long time to build and grow. So, a huge problem with Ozempic is people lose so much body fat. They lose bone mineral density and they lose skeletal muscle back. But as soon as they get off the drug and they regain all of this weight, it's all mostly fat mass. You can gain a lot of fat very, very quickly and very easily. Increasing your lean mass or your skeletal muscle is incredibly challenging and it takes a very long time. This one resonates with me most. You can't think of Ozempic as a holiday from hard work where you can just lay back, abstain for a while, then when you get where you want, take off and take over from where you left off. I'm not really sure what he means by that, but you get the point. Ozempic is not a holiday from hard work. You can't just lay back, inject the drug, and let it do the magic. You need to take responsibility and you need to do some of the heavy lifting as well. So he goes on to say, you need to start embracing not eating after 5, exercising daily, and eating low calorie as a way of life. I'm actually trying to get it in my head as I speak. This person has a little bit more of an extreme point of view, but if this is what makes them feel happier and healthier, I fully support it. I just want to be very clear, this is not what I do personally, and it is not ever something I would suggest. I go out for dinner all the time, and especially if it's a dinner party, you have to have the flexibility and you have to be okay with appetizers at 6 and dinner at 8 or 9. But I think his overall message is do not make it a habit to be constantly snacking after dinner and eating so much food way beyond the point of fullness.
These drugs are insanely successful, but they only work as long as you are on them.
As soon as you get off and your appetite comes back, weight regain will, of course, follow unless you have changed your diet and your lifestyle. If you want to make healthy eating easier and just feel effortless and natural, get my ebook Macro Bestie. There are 54 clean and calorie controlled recipes in there. You can get Macro Bestie at nutritionbyelsa.com. So, peace out, everybody. I hope you learned something interesting in this video and make sure you subscribe, and I hope you have a beautiful day. Goodbye.